Just sit right back and hear a tale of a podcast crew who gather around the mighty drink to give their point of view. Hazman is the panel spy, he shows that he has fun, and Donnie our host will jump along, guiding us through the storm, guiding us through the storm. Big T's our rock, he keeps us true, he often gets his say, and just alive he knows the girls will riveting dragons win, and riveting dragons win. The Mad Dragon podcast is a journey unforeseen, with Hazman and Donnie to do, and there's Big T and Coco, just the start, Mazza and the other crew, here on the Mad Dragon podcast.
Well, g'day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mad Dragons podcast. Winners are grinners. Some will say it's only a trial. Some will say it's only the Tigers. Plenty of Dragons fans, let alone fans of other teams, will downplay the significance of this win. But we headed into this game, for the first time in my memory, the outright favourites for the wooden spoon, after a less than impressive performance against an understrength Souths. I've had several people this week tell me that we're always favourites for the spoon. And I can tell you we've never, ever been outright favourites for the spoon until this week. We were equal favourites prior to the trials in 2022, but then we beat Parramatta and Souths in the trials and never firmed to be outright faves. This was brand new territory for the Dragons. A new low in a decade of atomic lows. So you can say it's just a trial or it's just the Tigers, but for me, when you are outright favourites for the spoon, you should be celebrating any little win, anything that gives us hope of avoiding our first ever spoon in joint venture history. Well, that's enough of my jibber jabber for a little while. Let's meet the rest of the panel. Here they all are. It's Hazman, who we will be hearing from in just a minute. Big T. We've got the Menai Dragon, and I'll kick it off by going to Jag, who has done a tremendous job while I've been in Adelaide for the last week. Does a win like that make the next couple of weeks a little bit more bearable, mate?
It makes it a bit more, gives us a bit more optimism for the start of the season. Obviously, with that performance, completely 180-degree turnaround from our last outing in the Charity Shield. The guys really looked like they enjoyed themselves, and yeah, Flano must have got really stuck into them, and they looked like they really enjoyed their footy. And it was shown. I know it was, as you said, it was only the Tigers, but there was some good signs there last night, and hopefully there's a thing of good signs to come as well for the team going ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, as I said, we will hear from Hazman, and it feels like there could be any number of heroes, but I'll be interested to see who he has lined up as the villain for this week. So, let's go into this.
It's down, looking by yourself, you are to the tin pan lock strapped on your front door. Well, there ain't nothing but heroes and villains, more villains than heroes. But can you tell what from the next? Can you go down from zero? There ain't nothing but heroes and villains, more villains than heroes. All lined up from the east to the west, black cat born on an infinite chest.
Donnie, you didn't tell me I was meant to be doing one, so...
You do one every single Sunday show for 2 years, mate.
You didn't do one last week either.
This is season 3. You don't have heroes and villains ready.
No, I haven't got a rant prepared. I mean, if you really want a villain, well, I'll throw Casey Badger in there. As I said in the chat during the game, she was absolutely awful. And my hero, I think I'm going to go Ben Hunt for having just gone off the field to have a rest. The minute that Flanagan jump was going off for a think he went off for an HIA. Hunt is out of his seat, raring to go back. Dean Young actually had to sort of go, no, mate, you're not going back. And this is from a guy who, this time last year didn't want to be at the club. So, look, kudos to Hunt for getting his head out of his backside and deciding, right, I better start thinking like I'm playing for these blokes.
All right, well, that's a bit of a disappointing heroes and villains, man. I'll let you know now. Every single Sunday for the rest of the season, for the rest of the time that the Mad Dragons podcast exists, every Sunday there will be a heroes and villains. You fine with that? You good?
Donnie, it was a bloody troll game, for Christ's sake.
Mate, you're always blowing up. You've always got a rant.
Just a trial.
No, but the only thing I didn't like about this game was the fact that Casey Badger was in charge. That's pretty much it.
I thought she was out of her depth, though. She was out of her depth.
We have a bad record with her.
Anyway, let's not blame the ref. We won the game. Let's carry on.
Well,
we won the game. The rest still sucks.
100%.
All right, well, let's move into the next segment. We've heard from Hasman. Actually, before we do that, let's have a bit of a look at this one. So, if you get a shop, make sure you're shopping at the Mad Dragon. Check out our stubby coolers as well as all our other merchandise available from Etsy. Head to etsy.com/au/shop/Mad Dragons Vodcast. You can find some great merch like this, some fantastic quality stubby coolers. We've got Jesse down in the bottom right. It's got his Tegan Berry Flash shirt on at the moment. That one you can get. He doesn't have it on. He's just holding it up, parading it. But make sure you get in and check out the Mad Dragons merch on our Etsy store. All right, now we'll move into, well, technically the Mad Dragons Vodcast Player of the Year. It does say Player of the Year on the screen, but we aren't doing full votes on trial games. But we will discuss the players that we thought were fantastic in this game. And I'll start with you, Rob. You were very vocal that the best player on the park was Moses Sully. What was it that you liked about Sully's game?
Mate, I just saw another gear in Moses Sully's game. I saw the inner beast. He is a beast. Become just this bigger, greater beast. And my God, unleash him. Because I think he can go up a gear or two. And mate, what a beast he is. I mean, he's scary. You watch him run out in the field. I mean, mate, this guy's massive. And mate, I'm now learning 10 metres out from the try line. I mean, him and Rav as well too, obviously. But mate, the sky's the limit with him. I think we're going to see a cracker, big season out of him. So I was really, really impressed with him. I thought obviously Benny Hunt played a fantastic game as well too. Top-notch captain's game, leading from the front. I think Ben's now resolute that he's going to stay at the Dragons and maybe even see his career out with us and play his best possible football for us. And hopefully, big call, but hopefully if that's 2 years, 3 years or whatever, we can see a top 8 and he might be a part of it and help us rebuild to maybe one day get into a grand final. Jaden Sura as well too, fantastic match. And for all the critics out there, I'd like to say I thought Slane was definitely okay in this game, and I thought Slane was playing with safety first, with everything he tried to do, even when the ball went in the in goals and all that sort of stuff. So,
I might just interrupt a little bit there, Rob, just to chuck you the question that Dale Nowland just put in the chat with regards to Ben Hunt. Isn't next year his last year at the club? Do you think that will be at the end of his career if he does stay until 2025, or do you think the Dragons are a chance of actually extending him beyond that?
Oh, look, 34, right, mate, Donnie? So, 35 in 2025. So, as long as his body holds up and his form holds up, I suppose, as well. But I guess the Dragons also have to look to the future as well, too, and getting a half in. But what I would love to see, I think you mentioned it once or twice, mate, is that if they get a dynamic half to come in, that maybe Hunt could mentor that half and play with that half. I mean, no offense to Flanagan Jr., but I don't see him as our long-term 5'8" for us. So maybe in a way, if Hunt hangs around, I would have loved Tommy Dearden, but that ship's sailed. But maybe Hunt can play a part of succession.
We got a few questions on a few of those issues later in the show. We'll move on to you, Big T. One bloke Rob didn't mention there that I thought was probably the best on the ground in the opening half an hour was Jacob Little. How big a blow do you think it will be if his hamstring injury keeps him out for any extended period?
Well, they did actually say it was only a light injury, so hopefully it won't leave him out. We've got 2 weeks before our first game, so hopefully he can get himself back on the field. 5 runs, 49 metres, 4 tackle busts. He did run well from dummy half, 36 tackles. He will be a little bit of a loss, but I can see Connor coming in. I thought he played very, very well when he came on. He made 48 tackles or something. Didn't do much with the ball, just passed from dummy half. But, 40-something tackles he made. So Connor might be able to slip into the side. Maybe Kayflan moves to number 9 and Marshke comes in at 6. I like Marshke. He looks like a good player. Like it says in the trim down the bottom there, I picked several players for 1 point because we had so much quality across the park. We had players running 100-plus metres. I think 3 of our forwards ran over 100 metres. Michael Molo came onto the ground and he had 8 runs for 96, might as well say 100 metres, 44 post contact and 28 tackles, 3 tackle breaks. So he's really stepped up his game.
Yeah, absolutely. You did have a host of number ones, but we'll let you get away with that in the trial. But you might have to narrow it down when we get to the season proper. Oh, good, mate. Jesse, the official man of the match, and probably the man that I think most of the panel gave man of the match, was Jaden Sewer. Why did you think that he was our best?
I thought every time he made a run, he was out on a mission, always running with vengeance and aggression. We missed that at the back end of last year when he was out with that shoulder injury. And looking at his stats, 13 runs for 155 metres, 12 hit-ups, 42 post-contact metres, 7 tackle breaks, the most of any forward on the night, 1 line break assist, 3 offloads, 21 tackles, and he really whipped in. Obviously, he was the man of the match on Fox as well, so he was a standout. And we haven't had a full year out of him yet. If he can be in the team all year, it'll be only be better for the team. If we're going to do anything for this in this competition this year, because we lacked his experience and his a bit of aggression we had last year, and under Flano, I think he can go to another level this year.
I'll quickly throw back to Big T with a couple of comments coming through on Connor Mollison. Mother has jumped in the comments. He said that he doesn't run, and Wayne Madden are pretty much echoing that sentiment, saying that he needs to run occasionally. Do you still see that as a big concern? I mean, the running game of Jacob Little was really what set the tone for us. Does Connor need to?
It did set the tone for us. He had a dummy half was putting us on the front foot, and Connor not running. But I didn't watch too much of the Charity Shield. But who was it? Somebody said on there. I can't think who it was. What's the Charity Shield? He must have run a few times in the Charity Shield. Anyone got any information there?
I can't remember.
I think
much.
I think he might have had one run for 9 metres or something like that.
That's all right.
I'm not too sure.
I look at runs. If the runs equal the run meters of plus 10 each run, that's a pretty good stat there, I think.
All right, Hasman, another player that most had in their top 3, but no one had him as our best was Ben Hunt. Was he genuinely not our best player, or do you think the panel still has a little bit of animosity for Hunt after the events of last year?
There might still be a few bad feelings sort of around the panel, but no, I thought he did well. I just thought there were 2 guys that sort of shaded him slightly, but no, that's one of the better games I've seen from him in a little while, and that was all because of the forward momentum that we got from guys like Jaden Sewer. So no, I was pretty impressed with Benny, but yeah, I think there might be still a little not quite sure he's there because he actually wants to be, but because he has to be, sort of thing. So if we see a few performances like that sort of early in the season, who knows, we might be able to win some of us over.
We can only hope. All right, well, that's the players that we had as our best. Make sure you let us know in the comments some others that you think we should have spoken about as being among our best. And right now we'll move into talking about some moments of the match. And I'll go to you first, Rob. The first 10 minutes, the Tigers had plenty of ball, but never really looked like cracking us. Was this good defence from us or average attack from the Tigers?
No, I think our defence is now definitely more resolute under Flano. I think I noticed in the game, pretty much the whole game, the players were way up for it. All the players, the squad. It's like the mindset, the attitudes improved. That we don't want to be broken. We don't want our defence broken, the defensive line broken. So to me, the attitude has improved markedly. So I think that's a bit of a polish in the defence as well too. And yeah, I mean, I see it as a positive. I wouldn't say that Tigers were domineering, obviously, or close to domineering in attack, but I wouldn't say they were poor. But I just think we defended really well, to be fair. And I think it's competitive now. I think the positions are competitive, and I don't know. I'm impressed, mate. So I think the defence was stronger than last season, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I guess I might open that up to anyone who wants to chuck their hand up in the side panel there. Does anybody else, if it was the Dragons that attacked that way in the opening 10 minutes, do you think that we would be saying that the Tigers were too good defensively, or that we were pretty shit out in attack?
Well, some games last year it would have been us shit out in attack. But this year,
the Tigers really they were inside our 20 and doing 5 hit ups and getting tackled on the last.
Yeah,
it was pretty poor.
They were very pedestrian. They didn't throw much at us, but we held them out. So last year we would have let that one of those 24 tackles in, 36 tackles even.
Totally agree, Big T.
We would have let one of them in, no worries. They would have been in on.
The Tigers' defence was very ordinary as well.
They would have been in on the Rava side. I think the edge defence is starting to look pretty tight. Sully and Rava and Bird and
Lomax and
Bird and Lomax. Yeah, so Lomax is a good defender anyway. So that side's going to be fixed up for sure. We've just got to stop Rava.
I think that's why he's gone to the wing. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, but I think he's a bit wasted there. But anyway, if he gets a Blacklock role, won't be wasted at all.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll stay with you, Big T. Pretty early on, we lost Dragons Player of the Year from 2023, Blake Laurie, to a rib injury. What sort of impact do you think this might have on the start of our season?
Yeah, he looked in quite a lot of pain. I've had a few rib injuries over the years, and he succumbed to his injury probably around about the 25-minute mark, was it? He actually went off. Yeah, he's going to be a bit of a loss because on average 116 metres per game last year. But it's the stuff he does off the ball, like his dummy runs and his defence we're going to miss. But I will say, like I said before, I thought Michael Molo really stepped up and pushed the claim for the number 10 spot.
Yeah, so you think Michael Molo a chance of coming in to replace Blocker if he doesn't get up?
Yeah, it depends on Hame Saleh as well. Will he come straight back into the side, or will he come off the bench? I'm not sure, but Michael Molo really pushed for a spot yesterday.
Yeah, I like the look of Billy Army.
Oh yeah, as well. Yeah. But I still think he's still a bit green. I think we go with Molo.
Yeah, I like the agility of Michael Molo. His footwork at the line was causing some problems. The feeder had some good charges, but I agree he's a bit green and probably doesn't do quite enough for my liking.
Not yet.
Work rate's not up there.
Maybe in 4 or 5 months' time, towards the end of the year, might bring him in. And but I think like Michael Molo's my man to take up Locker if he has any time off.
You're getting plenty of suggestions in the chat. Brendan Daly saying Eisenhuth to 13, Luch to the left side. So there's going to be a few things that we'll have to sort out. But we'll get to that in due course. We'll stick with you. We'll go to you, Jesse. Tyrell Sloan played 50 to 60 minutes, ran for 162 metres, had 2 line breaks, a line break assist, scored a try, had 0 errors. Why on earth are our fans still lining him up with negative comments?
Because probably of the he's still a bit suspect under the high ball.
He didn't drop a ball. Didn't drop a high ball the whole game. Like stop worrying about what he did last year, what he did 2 years ago. What he did in this game, what did he do wrong?
It looks like he's got that tag on him now, and it's going to be very hard for him to shake off. There was a lot of people calling for his head last year, and we know what he can do with the ball. I was very happy for him to have a good game like that, but it's just those little things that he needs to work on to get his game complete, like being there, calling out the defenders to get in their spot and make sure they're there, and don't be afraid to make runs and run to the defensive line. You just got to work on that and work on his defense as well, being in the right position to shut down the play. Like a lot of people, I was one of them that Buller try last night. He could have gone for him, but he missed him. Some people may or may not agree. But
it was Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt
and Jack Bird, they both missed him.
Yeah, Ben Hunt.
Well, it wasn't not Jack Bird's tackle to make. Jack Bird's like.
Too
how often do we criticise the centre for coming in off his man? Jack Bird stays on his man, trusts Ben Hunt to make the tackle. Ben Hunt doesn't make that tackle. Buller puts a big left foot step on. No fullback in the world is going to make that tackle.
No one's going to make that tackle.
Ben Hunt was not fast enough for Buller. Buller was just too good.
Ben Hunt tried to get him.
He did try to get him, but it was Ben Hunt's job to get him. It was only his job. He was the man that had to make that tackle. He was trusted by his centre to make that tackle.
He missed five tackles yesterday, Ben Hunt.
Well, that's the next question, Big T, and I was going to throw to Hasman. So Tyrell Sloan missed some tackles. Let's not pretend he didn't. Why is he the only one that gets criticised for that? Ben Hunt missed the same number of tackles, had no try or line break assists, didn't run as many metres as Sloan, didn't force a dropout, had an error to his name. Yet he gets rated by all and sundry as one of our best. But for Sloan, we ignore all the good and only focus on the bad. Can you explain why that is?
Well, it's mainly just to stir you up, I think, Donnie. No, look, I think the issue with Sloan is his inconsistency. Like you very rarely see Ben Hunt have a bad game, whereas Tyrell Sloan, I mean, it's a 50-50 proposition, week in, week out, what sort of game he's going to have. I think it's just the lack of consistency that some fans are getting a little bit sort of shitty with. As James Savage has just pointed out, he's actually earned a bit of leeway, whereas Tyrell Sloan hasn't really sort of got there yet. I'm not saying he won't, but look, he's got a lot of things to work on, and hopefully he can. But I think it just comes down to Hunt's much more consistent player. That's all.
Yeah, well, I agree that it comes down to consistency, but I feel like you've got to actually judge the guy on the performance he had on the field, and like he was one of our best. He should be up there and considered as one of our best in that game. I thought he had a really good showing. Now, Rob, I'll keep flogging the dead horse a little bit because I know you're as passionate about this as I am. I'll give you another player, Jack DeBellin, had 6 missed tackles, 3 ineffective. He had an error, gave away 2 penalties and a 6 again. Yet I've seen 0 criticism for JDB. What is it about Sloan that makes Dragons fans seemingly desperate to see him fail?
It's expectations, Donny. So he's got expectations on him. He's so good in the attack that it comes to the end of this. If they don't see him score a try in the game, let alone 1 or 2 tries, then everybody's on his back. So it's almost like, we'll cancel you out if you score a try or 2 tries, and if there's some inconsistency, a drop ball or a drop bomb or whatever. But people aren't reading the fact that he's not missing that many tackles. Like you said, Ben Hunt missed 5 tackles, but he goes unnoticed. You used a great example of Reece Walsh at the Broncos. I mean, I know the Broncos win a fair few games, but Reece Walsh is scoring a try here or there, but he's missing a fair few tackles. But you never hear about this dynamic fullback, bad press like we did with Tyrell Sloan. So, again, I just say, get off this kid's back. I mean, geez, he's a good player. I think he's becoming more aggressive. I think he's running up harder as well too. And he lost the ball because I think he ran it up so hard. He's trying his guts out, I think, anyway. The only one little criticism I've got, and I mean, I might be really over-criticising Tyrell now, is I'd have liked to have seen him take on Bullock when he got through, maybe sort of cut to the inside, because, mate, those 2 blokes can match motor for motor and pace, right, Donny? But probably poor old Tyrell was worried about, well, I don't want to go out, take him out, go out the sideline and I lose the ball on us or whatever. So I just say, I think
I'll go the other way, Rob. I was stoked that he took the high percentage option because so often in the past we've seen Tyrell Sloan take the low percentage option and then gets taken over the sideline, and that brings more criticism. Take that, like he took the tackles, first tackle or something. So we had a full set, and we probably scored at the end of it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
like I just think. Just give him some more time. I mean, just get off his back a bit. You know what I mean? The kid's pulling some good stats. So we've got some of our top line players, like you said, JDB, Ben Hunt. They're missing, a fair few tackles, and no one identifies that. If you know what I mean. So you're right. You're correct. Just chill out a little bit, and let's see how we go in the next few games. Round 1, 2, 3, or whatever. And this kid can score. I mean, I question all the Dragon supporters out there. I like a player that can make something from nothing. And I got to say, there's not many in our team that can make something from nothing, like a Chuck Mundine and Nathan Blacklock in past years. So Tyrell Sloan is a player that can make something out of nothing. So, so I just ease up on him a bit. And I think with Flano's good coaching, he'll come good. He really will.
We might need to get Muzzer on that strategy, Dean. Get Tyrell Sloan and the Muzzer's multi every week as well, because hopefully he's going to score a few this year. All right, well, let's remind people that we won, Big T. Get back to some positives. Tries to Ben Hunt, Moses Sully, Mika Ravaloa, Ben Hunt again, Zach Lomax, and Tyrell Sloan. Which was your favourite? And you talk us through the try.
Oh, they were all my favourite. The first one, the K Flan bomb, the Rava and Sully power. The Zach Lomax try from the bird kick. That was a great try. But my favourite one was the last try, the Sloan try, where Ben Hunt actually ran the ball. He ran a couple of times last night. He ran the ball. He runs well. He's such a good runner. And I'm glad to see, hopefully, Carl Fanning will take over and Ben Hunt will run the ball more. He spun the ball. He done a cross with Mariner. Mariner done a cross to Sloan. Sloan scores under the post, you know. Was probably the best try of the night. The other ones were great too. The other ones were great as well. But, yeah. It was, right.
Yeah, I think I really love those last couple of tries. We really seemed to open up and start to play with a lot of freedom. And it was fantastic to see. A bit of razzle-dazzle. How long has it been since we've seen a Dragons team with a bit of razzle-dazzle?
We've seen that last week as well against South. There was razzle-dazzle last week against South, but it just didn't come off. So it didn't come off. So this week, like I said last week, we had 7 or 8 opportunities to score tries against South in the first half, and none of them came off. It was either bad pass or the wrong choice of play at the end. But this week, they all stuck, mate. We had opportunities to score more tries. Moses Sully put one down, running down the left late in the game. He could have made a monster and scored a second try. There was a few opportunities that we didn't take out. But yeah, I think we've got a good attacking side by the look of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of criticism last week about our attack, and people forget it was our first hit out of the year. There was a lot of rust, and I totally agree with you. We created chances. We had that last pass wasn't going to hand, but I thought we could have led 18-6 at the break, and that would have been a pretty good reflection of that first half. I don't know about 30-0.
Sloan
I don't know about that.
For their try, and yeah, we could have been leading that game 30-6, all right, 30-6.
Can I add something too, Donnie, on the behalf of Tyrell Sloan? I know from a fairly good source, Flano likens Sloan to a great player in David Peachy, in the way Peachy would run around the field.
I think everybody that's seen Sloan since he was 12 has likened him to David Peachy.
He's a peach. Yeah,
so, but anyway, to be fair, what I'm trying to say is what I noticed is him backing up now. So Flano's got him as a fullback now, maybe backing up, you know what I mean, a break. So coming through, like the other Billy Slater, you know what I mean? Like the old Terry Lamb of the Bulldogs backing up. And, mate, that's a powerful thing. With Sloaney's pace, he can burn 10 or 20 metres very quickly. And, mate, he's going to score some tries on the backup. If we play that ad-lib football like you're just talking about, mate, Sloan's in for some tries this season. Mark my words. On the backup try, not him creating something himself, as backing up as a fullback, like the old David Peachy, if you see where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on from Tyrell Sloan, we've had about 5 questions on him now. But Jesse, one last from the game. Ben Hunt left the field after 60 minutes, and we didn't see him come back on. And we didn't score another point after he went off. Does this highlight how many paddles we will have up shit creek if Ben Hunt was to suffer any sort of long-term injury?
Oh, 100%. That's the best game I've seen him play in the red bead jumper in a long, long time. He was terrific. He looked like he was enjoying his footy. He scored 2 tries. Kyle Flanagan was a lot better last night, and that Tolly's just pointed out that kick that he set up for Ben Hunt for the first try. Kyle looked a lot better and took that, put his own kicking game brought that into the game. Take some pressure off Ben Hunt. They looked a lot better in the role, and then it freed up Ben Hunt to play his running game, and he looked like he was enjoying his footy. Never seen him crack a smile, and he owes it to us, the fans. of what he did last year and asking us for that release, and then all the way he went out about it. But he knows that he's still the leader of this club. He's the captain, and he's got to lead the way. And if we're going to go anywhere this year and try and climb that ladder, he's going to be paramount to us doing that, because, as you pointed out, without Ben Hunt, we're going to be losing a lot of games if he's not on the park. And as Hasman pointed out earlier, to show that he wanted to go back on when Kyle Flanagan went off for a HIA shows that he's really committed to this club and wants everything to succeed. And he's really playing for Flano and the team, and he's really buying into what Flano's brought to the club.
Well, I suppose that's a fair point that you raised there too. So Ben Hunt went off, and he was probably only off 5 minutes or so before Kyle Flanagan also had to go off. So he went off with a HIA. So both our starting halves were off the field. So it wasn't just that we couldn't score without Ben Hunt. We didn't have our other starting half on the field either. So do you think if Kyle had stayed on the park, we might have had a stronger finish in that last 15, 20 minutes?
It's really hard to say because we haven't seen a lot of Marshke. I don't know whether he pushes in for a spot in the 17 come round one, but yeah, Marshke didn't offer a lot last night. He only got limited minutes, but yeah, Flanagan looked very good in the sixth role last night, and he really impressed me with the way his kicking was, and it was like the team. It was a complete turnaround from last week's performance in the Charity Shield, and hopefully he can grow and get better in the role throughout the season and come round one, because again, that's going to be key to us going well. If Flano and Hunt can get that combination going right, and they can share the role and take turns in doing kicks and shake things up and offer a different variety of kicks. And like a lot of last year's games, we saw Hunt taking all the blows, whether to set up everything, whether it's kicking or set up the last play, running the ball. Flanagan will offer a different option in attack, and I think that's what we need to surprise a few teams this year, because last year everything was going, shut down Ben Hunt, you'll shut down the Dragons' attack. This year it looks like we have another option, and it could surprise a few teams and take them off guard in regards to what we do. But hopefully they can only get better from here, because last night was, yes, it was only the Tigers, but the halves are key for us this year, and those two will be need to get better in that role, and I'm sure they can with more games under their belt together.
Yeah, not a lot of depth in key positions overall for the Dragons, which is going to be an issue if we do have any injuries in those positions. But there does seem to be a bit of depth in other positions. So, hopefully we get those injuries and suspensions in the right areas where we do have players to cover. All right, we'll move in now to another segment. So some questions from fans. We do have a couple that have come through on the live chat, but we'll stick with a pre-prepared one first of all for Hasman. Our first question comes from fellow panel member Rob Segurna. He says that Shane Flanagan took over the Sharks in 2010, and with some bumps along the way, took them to the premiership in 2016. How long are you expecting it to take for Flano to achieve the same success at the Dragons?
Look, I think it's probably going to be, four, maybe 5 years, 3 if we get lucky, maybe. I mean, Flano's basically come out and said, look, don't expect too much this year. Next year's the year that we're really going to be, sort of focusing on kicking some goals, so to speak. But so look, it's going to take a few years. Anyone expecting us to win the premiership this year is, dead set kidding themselves. Actually, it's going to take a little while for him to sort of put his team together, and get him playing the way he wants them to play. So, patience is key at this point. We just got to trust in Flano, trust his processes, and hopefully Yeah, just saw that comment from. That's interesting. Brendan Daly's just came out and said, "I don't think we start pushing for the finals until we cut Ben Hunt." Well, I think last night's performance might you might be on the wrong side of that one, Brendan. Old time, but yeah. So Donny, yeah, it's going to be about 3 to 5 years, I think.
Shane Williams a little bit bigger, top 8 every year, with a premiership within 6 years. So basically, the same path that the Sharks took, although they weren't top 8 every year. His first year they missed the 8. First full year, I should say. He obviously took over halfway through 2010. They didn't make the 8 that year either. But yeah, all right. Well, I might stay with you for one that we got a bit earlier in the chat that came from Mad Lad. Similar sort of vein, Hasman. We finished 7th on the pre-season ladder. Do you think that's an omen for this year? Do we play finals footy, or do you think it's too early to say yet?
Way too early to say. I mean, we were saying after the Charity Shield, look, we're a top 15 team, at best. I think a lot of people would be thinking now, okay, maybe not. So no, we just got to give it a bit of time, see what happens, and I mean, you can't judge it off 2 trial games, where one game, the entire half is bloody reserve players. So no, it's way too early to even hazard a guess at that.
Yep. Well, another question, Rob, that's come from the chat. So this is an ad lib one from James Savage. He says, "Do you think that the Drags will be seen as a hard team that nobody wants to play this year?" He said they look big, they look strong. Do you think that we're going to be that team that no one wants to play against?
Absolutely, because I think I identified that Flano seems to have a better attitude in our players this season. They seem to be definitely up for it across the park. So, mate, I've got to be honest with you, we're unpredictable because when we're on, I think we can beat anybody. And it's been a long time to be able to say that, but I think just we've just seen something in this last match. Again, like Jesse said, I know it's the Tigers, and I know we've got some games, especially away. We've got some bad stats playing away, and especially in Queensland. But there's just something telling me that we're going to be an unpredictable team this year. And if we're on, I think we can really beat anybody, mate. So bring it on. Well, hopefully we're on. That bloody rhymes too.
100%.
I'll stay with you, Rob, while you're going. So we actually got this question pre-show from Graham Bruce, but we've also got it in the live chat from John Muller. He poses Graham Bruce's question was, he says that we heard all off season about Sloan and Lomax interchanging at different times between fullback and wing, and not once in the trials did that happen. Do you think Shane Flanagan has missed a trick by not giving Zach Lomax any time at all in the fullback role?
I don't think. I'm going to be really fair here on Flano. I don't think Flano saw anything in the game that he needed to change Lomax to fullback, to change Slaney, to be honest with you, to mix it up. Like we weren't behind in the game, or we dramatically weren't getting kicked on the scoreline, or defence was questionable at the back or whatever. So I don't know. I just think Flano probably decided, well, why change a good thing while it's going? We were so domineering. So yeah, I figure that way. I wouldn't say no to it. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. I'm sure it might happen at some stage. But yeah, I guess watch this space, Tony. Depending on the game we're playing or whatever. But Flano has obviously raised that he is a prospect of him doing that. So I wouldn't put it to bed yet.
Yeah, I just would have thought the trials was the perfect time to give it a go. I know that he had back spasms in the Charity Shield, which was the reason why it didn't occur. But I would have thought the fact that we were dominating the Tigers would have been the reason to actually give it a crack. That's when you start to try things, and everything you try comes off when things are the bounce of the ball's going your way, which it certainly was in Mudgee. Big T, another one that's come through on the chat, and I'm not on the live chat at the moment. We've got 12 new comments, so I'm not sure what I've missed, but we'll chuck Grant Rower's comment up. He wants to know our thoughts on Jackson Hastings, and if he wanted to maybe come home to the Dragons, would he be an option that you would think the Dragons should consider as perhaps that longer-term option to maybe replace Hunt or maybe BR6?
Yeah, Jackson Hastings is a good player. I didn't mind him when he was younger back at the Dragons, and then he moved on. He moved on to a couple of clubs where it's reported that he wasn't the best person to get on with. Jackson Hastings, he's at Newcastle now, and he's sort of a little bit number 3 at Newcastle. I think you got Cogger and Gamble there in the halves. Are they going to move Jackson Hastings to 13? I don't know. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's much of an improvement on what we've got.
Yeah, I think he's a very good player, but
he's a good player. He's a good player, yeah. But what we've got, I think he's not quite a superstar player. I don't think people will say he is, but that's just opinion.
I find that since he's come back from England, just about everywhere he goes, he makes the place, he makes the club a bit better. I mean, I don't think it was a mistake that I don't think it was a mistake that Newcastle were up in and around the top 4 and top 8 last year. Jackson Hastings had a bit to do with it. Kalen Ponga finding some form certainly helps.
They impressed me today. They played well yesterday or today. And last week they played well. So Newcastle impressed me. But yeah, I think Jackson Hastings, I think we've got what we need. I don't think he's going to make an improvement to the club.
All right. Well, we've got a question from some random on YouTube, Jag94. I might go to you, Jesse. What do you think about this Flogs question?
Well, who is that guy? Must be a top bloke. Marshy 15 minutes. Well, I don't really know. Probably because Flanagan and Hunt went so well. I thought Marshy would have got a bit of time at hooker too to show his versatility, because he could be that 14 we're looking for in round 1. And he may well be if Jacob Little's ruled out with that hamstring injury. So, yeah, I didn't think Marshy got a lot of time because of how well Flanagan, Hunt, and Connor Mullison went. So,
I think a bit might have had to do with the fact that Jacob Little got injured, and Jacob Little was probably supposed to be out there for a bit longer. Maybe didn't want to give Marshy, 55 or 45 minutes of time at 9. Was happy to give him sort of 10 to 15, but just when Little got injured, he decided to change up the plan. I don't know.
I just looked up. Jag84 is a prominent strip club owner in Sydney.
You've been to that club, have you, Rob?
No, I was just looking up Wikipedia, mate.
Right, PT, I might throw you onto this one. I'll answer the next question, but do you want to have a look and give me an answer after this question to Dean's question on the screen about how many tackles did Flanagan make?
I can do
we'll
that.
come back to that one. But, another question from our good friend Rob Saguna that I think I'll actually answer this one myself. It has been indicated several times that Kyle Flanagan was brought to the club predominantly to fill the 14 role, and he's not expected to be our long-term 5'8". So is there anyone off contract or in our system that can come in and be our long-term 6? I would start by answering your question by saying none of us have any idea. We don't have any clue what Shane Flanagan is planning. I'll throw up 20 different names right now of players off contract in 2025 that could play in the halves alongside Ben Hunt. Some of them might be better than what we've got. Some of them probably not. Some of them are probably going to retire, and most are probably going to stay at their own clubs. But according to Zero Tackle, off contract, we've got Dane Laurie, Joey Manu, Nick Meaney, Khaled Rajab, Adam Dwayhe, Kieran Foran, Tyson Gamble, Jai Gray, Luke Keary, Luke Metcalf, Anthony Milford, Jake Clifford, Dean Hawkins, Sean Johnson, Cody Nicarima, Adam Reynolds, Toby Sexton, Chad Townsend, Brendan Wakeham, and Jamie Humphreys. But there's zero indication from the Dragons that they're after any of them. In terms of players in our system, there really isn't anyone that is likely to be ready for 2025. Lycan King Togia looks like a great prospect, really soft hands, good ball player, a decent defender on the little I've seen of that aspect of his game. But it's not certain he's going to play much cup this year, let alone NRL. Cade Reid, he looks a real talent. He has enough talent to be an Australian schoolboy halfback, but he also looks like a stiff breeze would blow him over. So he's got a bit of filling out to do before he can be considered for NRL opportunities, I feel. Jesse Marski looks okay, but is he an upgrade on Kyle? Probably not. So in answer to your question, Rob, there's plenty out there, and there's plenty that can change, and I've just gone through the ones off contract. As we found out this week, it doesn't matter if they're off contract. There still might be opportunities to get other players that are on contract and that we could take over, and they might be looking to ask for a release. So a lot of things can change between now and the start of 2025. It's a long way away. But we do not have any information right now. At this stage, Kyle Flanagan is our best option. And with what we do know, he currently looks to be our best option for the foreseeable future in the 6 jersey. I know it's probably not what you were after, Rob, but we don't really know. You there, mate?
No, I'm here, mate. All good, mate. I just wanted a big name to come in, I suppose. To fill that void. But look, I mean, if Flanagan Jr. can get things happening with Ben Hunt, magnificent, etc. I mean, you mentioned Joseph Manu, but I think he's going to rugby union by the sounds of it. But things can change, right, in the season. You never know. I just think Kyle looks better as a 14, better as a backup hooker, dummy half, whatever. But at the end of the day, if he's our best option, he's our best option, mate, in the club to play 6. And he certainly played very well in the game against the Tigers. So
he's a better defender than Ben Hunt anyway. 19 tackles, 1 missed tackle.
That's pretty good.
And how fantastic is that? I mean, even if he's only sort of just there and thereabouts in attack, we've had some terrible options in the halves defensively over the last couple of years. I mean, Junior didn't really light it up in that aspect of his game. Jaden Sullivan was a bit of a target for us early in that game against the Tigers because he's a smaller body. He certainly puts his body on the line, but Kyle Flanagan seems to have them covered defensively and is already linking better with the centres. So they're pretty good defensive stats, big team.
Yeah, they are. Monet last year was missing 5 and 6 tackles a game. He did play 70 minutes of the game. So, 1 missed tackle. I think that's pretty good. He's just got to work on his attack now and his kicking game.
And I think I'll add lib for you guys too, that if Tyrell Sloan comes in to that second receiver every now and then, like a David Peachy, a player like that, he's going to create something for us as well too, an attack, moving forward. So there's no doubt, I'm sure he will get in there with some runs as well too and back up. So I think we're looking positively better than last season.
There's certainly a few comments coming through that we're chucking on the screen as we go through. But Big T, JJ Bell and Michael Sharman have combined kind of to form a question. They don't know this yet, but I've combined a couple of things that they've put in different comments on Facebook and pointed to the game stats, in particular that we only completed 68% of our sets. We had 46% of the ball. We made 11 errors compared to 5. We gave away 13 penalties or 6 against to 5, and yet still won comfortably. Do you think these stats highlight that we still have plenty of issues that will be punished by better sides? Or do you think this is testament to our new processes that we can overcome some adversity and still win easily.
Now, good teams, even if they do lose on the stats, can win the games. That hopefully we've changed course with Shane Flanagan, and those games that we lost last year by the 6 and 1 and 4 points and 2 points, we're going to win those games this year. I think maybe a Penrith or a Brisbane might punish us. I don't think anybody else will. I think if our attack improves so much that we can afford to defend poorly at times, I think we can improve. I think Casey Badger was out of her depth last night too, and at stages in the game, there's a couple of referee errors I've seen there, and she could have been better. Attacking combinations are coming good, so I think we can afford to have a couple of poor defensive lapses because our attack is improving.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, Jesse, one final question from the Menai Dragon. The Dragons have not won outside of New South Wales since round 1, 2022. Is this a hoodoo that will be broken in 2024, or do you expect it to be a big factor in our first 2 games of the regular season?
I don't think Flano will be looking at it too much. I mean, yes, he'll be keen to get some wins on the road because they're as important as winning games at home. But it's a totally new group that Flano's got. Those players weren't part of those campaigns the last couple of years. It's a totally different group, or majority of it anyway. And I think Flano will just have a clean slate, and you just want to start from scratch and look to have a different plan for each game, and take each game as it comes, because I think you just got to go out and win every game, no matter where you're playing. You got to perform every single game. Doesn't matter what ground you're playing. If you're playing on Mars, you're playing in America, you're playing at Winter Stadium. You got to perform every week, and I don't think Flano's going to look at it too much, but I think he's just got to prepare them and get them prepared as if they're playing a grand final every week, no matter where you play, because everyone's got to play on that field, and everyone's got to travel, and we're in the same boat as every other team. We've got to play in Queensland. We've got to play all these other games around the country, and we've got to adapt and acclimatise to that.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jesse. I think different coaching staff, different preparation, everything is different. That the fact that we haven't won Queensland for a while is, I think it's largely irrelevant with all the changes that we've made and the way that we're going to prepare for road games. It's going to be very different to how Anthony Griffin was preparing for road games. There might be some more rousing speeches to get them motivated. I don't know. Anthony Griffin was not exactly the kind of guy that was going to get you up when you were out on the road, I didn't think. But, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. All right, well, I might we'll move now in and we'll have a bit of a quick chat about lower grades before we come back to some more NRL stuff. I'll give you guys a bit of a break from being on camera because this is pretty much just going to be me for a little while. So our New South Wales Cup side got the chance to play in Mudgee against the Western Suburbs Magpies, who are the Tigers New South Wales Cup team, and we annihilated them 58 points to 6. You'll notice in the team list scrolling the bottom of the screen that there were a few that backed up for the NRL trial, so those guys only played about half of this game. Matty Feeney had a good game in his new role at fullback with a double, whilst Velio Tamale busted half a dozen tackles to score what was probably the try of the match. Other try scorers in the 52-point drubbing were Jesse Marshke, Sione Finau, Dylan Egan, Josh Ralph, a Welsh international that we brought into the club. He grabbed a double. Jonah Glover, and we might just bring Jonah Glover's... his try is this one here, a 100-metre effort that he picked up and showed really good speed. And also Jackson Shearer grabbed a try as well. So, it looks like the boys have gone all right. The fact that... we've got we've got a couple of games in the NRL up in Queensland. So the boys are in Queensland until the 23rd of March. There might be a chance for Dragons fans to head out and watch the New South Wales Cup side as they open their season against the North Sydney Bears at Collegians on Sunday, the 10th of March, and then they take on the Knights at Sid Parish Park on the 16th of March. So a couple of home games to start the year, maybe an opportunity to get down and have a bit of a look at the lower grade Dragon side. Don't have any information on the Jersey Flegg trial against the Tigers Flegg team. Haven't seen anything about that. But just quickly in the other lower grades games, both our SG ball sides have been flying in 2024, but the St George Dragons suffered their first defeat going down 16-14 to the Knights after they led 14-0 at half time. Still, we've got this one. We've got Zach Nakar took an intercept try and sprinted away. We've seen a lot of the speed of Jesse Williams in recent times, but it was Zach Nakar this time that sprinted away for that long-range try. Illawarra Steelers, they're still going well. They're sitting on top of the ladder. They clinically disposed of the previously unbeaten Parramatta Eels 30-16. It was only 12-10 at half time, and from the report I got from Stephen Bates, Daniel Miafu and Amon Fitzgibbon, who's the son of Craig Fitzgibbon, were both very good. In the Harold match, the Steelers went down 20-12. Tarsha Gale had a massive 38-0 win. Lisa Fiala Cup also had their first loss of the year, going down 32-16 to the Eels. And both the Andrew Johns and Laurie Daly Cup sides went down to the Western Rams. We have lost Rob. Rob said had to drop off for the night, so I'm going to have to mix his questions up amongst you guys. And so we'll work out how that goes. But we'll move now into another segment, news and rumours. And Hasman, I'm certainly getting a few questions about this one. Luciano Leilua has been signed effective immediately for this season, also 2025 and 2026. What do you make of the signing?
Look, I've been doing a bit of thinking about this, and I've got no problems with him coming back whatsoever. Worst case scenario is a really good sort of depth option for us, but I think maybe he even comes into the certainly into the 17 straight away. If he can sort of leave all the off-field dramas, where they belong. I reckon he could be pretty destructive for us, and give Flano a bit of a selection headache you wouldn't mind having.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that a lot of fans have I think they've got hung up a bit on how much a player is signed for. To me, that's not irrelevant, but it's not something that we know. We don't know what he's being paid. Journalists make up numbers. I've seen 3 to 4 journalists, all with completely different numbers in terms of what Luciano Leilua is being paid. It seems to me that there's two types of Dragons fans. There's the one that just believes the most expensive one and the one that makes them the most angry so that they can still complain, even though this should be considered a good thing. And then there's the other fan who believes the cheapest one, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, so it makes us look good. But the truth is we do being paid. That information is not public. It isn't published anywhere. So I'd say stop getting the shits about things we don't actually know and just ask yourself if it's a good signing that makes our team stronger. And for me, that's an easy question. We're better, more dangerous, more dynamic with Luciano Leilua in our team.
100%.
All right. Well, this one was for Rob, and I might double up on you, Big T. The other bit of news in conjunction with Luciano Leilua signing is that we had to get a player out of our top 30 as we were full. So the player that has agreed to drop out of the top 30 is Corey Allen. And in return, he's been offered a contract for 2025. Do you know how this works or any details around this? And do you think it's a good idea to extend him for 2025 coming off a knee reconstruction?
I don't know how it works or But I'm sure they had to apply to the NRL to drop Corey Allen off our top 30 this year and say, well, we'll just pay him out of our own coffers outside the salary cap. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. But, yeah, 2025, 12 months, 11 to 12 months for an ACL. Yeah, he is a good player. He can be a good player, I think. And hopefully he comes back from his knee injury next year. A lot of players do, a lot of players don't. 100% fit, and yeah, I hope he comes back and plays well next year.
Yeah, I think it was a matter of necessity more so than anything else. We wanted to get Luciano into the team, and we had to come up with a creative way of doing that. And I'm like you. I don't know exactly how it works, but I wouldn't think you can just pay a player out and get him out of your top 30. I would think that he would have to accept a release from the top 30 contract with no payment. We're still on the hook. We're still on the hook for his medical and his rehab and all that sort of stuff. Maybe sign a lower tier contract so he still gets some money coming in. And then we make up the difference with a higher salary in 2025.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm not sure. But obviously Shane Flanagan has said that he's been dedicated to the club in terms of what he's done since he got there in sort of pre-season training and all that sort of stuff, and was going really well. And this is an unfortunate injury, and he still thinks that he's going to have something to offer the club. So, I don't mind the idea of having him around for another year. I thought he was a decent signing in the first place. I know a few of you guys definitely had him in our starting 17 before he got this injury. So, if he was good enough then, why isn't he now?
That was before we signed a few players as well. Where does he fit into the side this year if he was available?
Well, again, probably on the wing, but not if they're doing that.
That's right.
Jack Bird in the centres and all that sort of stuff. He's going to be playing reserve grade until there's injuries and form, the same as Christian Tuipulotu.
Exactly right. Yeah.
I think he would have been a backup for Tyrell Sloan at fullback.
Possibly. He can play centre, he can play wing, he can play fullback. He can play anywhere in the back line, really. So, but yeah, he wouldn't have a spot this year.
Unless injuries strike,
Stephen Bates says if he replaces Turner in the top 30 next year, it's an upgrade. So that's a possibility as well, because you wouldn't think Turner's going to. He's exactly right. Someone has to replace him in the team too. So if he takes Paul Turner's spot in the top 30, that's a. You'd have to say that's an upgrade, but there's always a question mark. I think when a guy comes back from a knee reconstruction, it's not just physically coming back from. I've had two of them myself, and it's not just physically getting back out on the field. Sometimes it can take you another 12 months to actually get over it and feel like that the knee is stable again.
Well, it could be another Tau Moga. Tau Moga had a fair few knee injuries, didn't he? So he was playing for 13 years.
He's a bit younger.
He was playing in the NRL for 13 years, Tau Moga.
Yeah,
Alan's only
Moga had about 15 knee injuries. This is one for Corey, so I wouldn't.
He had one when he was at the Bulldogs too.
Yeah. But who knows what his knee's going to do?
Yeah. Jess, you cut your hand up there. I don't know what you wanted to add there.
I was just going to ask. It's been raised. It's been all over social media since we've signed Leilua. Do you think that this could be like an act of desperation that Flano wanted to go after a named player? I don't know if you could label Leilua as a big name player, but how
I think
he went after Fanua Blake and Deard and Manu. Do you think he didn't want to miss one player? He wanted to say, I want this player. I'm not letting another one slip. You think that's why he went for him?
No, I think that's NRL sledging pages getting to you, mate. That's absolute rubbish. That's his stands of other teams.
A lot from Dragons, actually.
This
was actually from Dragons fans.
Shane Flanagan has said he's quite happy to be patient and wait for the right players, wait for the right opportunities. They will come along. I don't think that he's going to make a panicked decision and sign Luciano Leilua because I will have to look like I've signed someone. I don't. I think Shane Flanagan has a bit more experience than that. He likes Leilua, thinks that what he has to bring to the club is actually worthwhile. So I think he wanted him. They've negotiated a deal that they think is fair, and they've got him. So I think it's a good thing. I don't see it as act of desperation at all.
And where do you think he ranks in back rowers in the game? Is he right up there?
He's up there at his best, but he played 13 games last year. He had some injury problems. When he was on the field, he's as damaging as a Viliami Kikau or any of the top back rowers in the comp. I think he's a very, very decent back rower.
He's got a good offload. He knows how to
he's got
the ball. He can get his hands free.
He's got a bit of ball playing in him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Probably most of you would know this, but some
Brendan.
may not. But you look at it, our forward pack will feature three forwards that are all St George Junior. So they came through Holden Cup together. Blake Laurie in the forwards, Hame Sele and Luciano Lua all came through in the under-20s team together.
Nice.
Yeah, Bladen Robinson with a fair point there as well. Yes, Luciano signings it's good, but to bringing juniors back, but it makes it hard for guys like Dylan Egan to maybe get back in, get into the side and get that opportunity.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, Tom Eisenhuth's only signed for 1 year. Raymond Fatalamara, I think it's 2 years for him. He could possibly jag a spot on the bench if he keeps working at it and pushing hard. He'll get his opportunity. I think these signings are only for the next couple of years to help us climb the ladder and give us some experience and depth there. And then once these young guys are ready, they'll get their opportunity to come into the side. And I expect blokes like Dylan Egan to feature at some point this year. Not necessarily round one, but they'll get their fair share of games as well. Like Dylan Egan, the Couchman boys will get more games. I think the Army Fafita will get a few more games. Alec Turdavaki will feature at some point. We'll all see them get a run at some point and give them some game time and see how they handle the top grade.
Yeah, it's always good to have some depth, and I think these guys need something to aspire to. So they've got to keep improving, and they've got to be the best option available if they want to play first grade. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I'd hate to lose them if we don't give them those opportunities. But I agree with you, Jess. I think they will get their chances when they're ready. Big T, the other bit of news around this is that the NRL are investigating Luciano Leilua's failure to report his drink driving offence while he was still at the Cowboys. Do you think this could blow up and see him miss some footy as a result?
No. I think it'll be a fine at best. Did anyone know what the reading was he pulled up?
0.052.
0.052. That copper must have been an absolute fucking asshole. I'm telling you now, 0.052. Come on, dickhead.
He's one mouthful over the limit.
Exactly right. I don't know that copper. I'm telling you now, if he's watching, don't watch, mate. We don't like you. But I knew this a week ago.
Probably a Bulldog supporter anyway.
It's a week ago. How he didn't tell his manager, that was wrong. He should have told his manager at least. He didn't tell the Cowboys. And then
should have told Todd Payton. Yeah.
I'm off. I'm see ya. I'm going. And then disappear out of town. No, but it'll be a fine from the NRL. Maybe $1,000, $2,000, whatever. He'll have to do maybe drug rehabilitation on a Wednesday night. And, he won't get miss any time. He won't miss any time.
No. I wouldn't think so.
He won't.
What is it, David Holland again? Is it David Holland or Steve Alley?
0.05. Oh, my God. Anyway, let's go.
Anyway, let's move along. Oh, we'll move into some forced and unforced changes, and I'm going to give this one to you, Jesse. This is it's going to be a bit of a long-winded question because it all sort of interrelates. Possibly, maybe, I'm not sure, but in any case, I know that if I'd made this 2 or 3 questions, you would have answered all 3 in your answer anyway. So I'll just throw it to you with one question. On the back of Luciano Leilua coming into the squad, you'd imagine he finds a spot in the 17 for round 1. And also Jaime Selle is expected to be fit and available. Meanwhile, there are injury concerns over Blake Laurie and Jacob Little. So where do you see these players coming in, and who do you see replacing those that could drop out?
Well, if Blake Laurie's rib injury is as bad as what he looked like going off last night, he could be missing a few weeks. Rib injuries are very tough. Whether he's broken a rib and it's got into his lungs, hopefully it hasn't got that bad. He'll leave a big hole there. But if Jaime Selle is fit and raring to go, I'd chuck him straight in if Block is ruled out. Luciano, I think he'll probably start on the edge, maybe pushing Tom Eisenhuth back to the bench. And then, obviously, if Jacob Little succumbs to that hamstring injury, again, you've got to be careful with those. They're one sort of injuries that you don't want to play around with. If he re-aggravates it, he could spend some further time on the sidelines, and we don't want him on the sidelines for too long. So, I mean, if he's not ready to go round 1, I'd be looking at Conor Mulhyson, give him the starting 9, and maybe looking at a Jesse Marshall off the bench. I think Jaime Selle comes straight in for blocker. And as for the bench, that's a matter of maybe who trains the best between now and in round 1. But there are a few I was impressed with last night, and I think there's a few there that will have cemented their spot already.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to get a bit more information in terms of how serious these injuries are. As Big T, you sort of alluded to the fact that Jacob Little, might be a minor hamstring tweak.
I think they said on the telecast it was a minor. They seen it as a minor injury. They took him off as a precaution. And block a Laurie. If it's just rib cartilage, they'll just needle him up and put him out there. Chuck a couple of needles in there and get him out in the field. I think we need blocker. He's just one of our number one. He's our number one player, number one forward, I think.
We just hope it's not a broken.
Oh yeah,
any
it's
broken rib.
He's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. If it's just rib cartilage, they'll needle him up to get him out there to play. And let's see how they go.
He didn't look too good, and he normally. He's a tough bugger. He'd normally try and stay out there or come back on later, but he never come back at all. So
no, he didn't.
It's a concern.
They wouldn't have needled him up for a trial.
No, exactly right. It's only a trial game. They're not going to take any risk.
They'll ice him. They'll heat pack him. They'll ice him.
Probably get scans this week.
He'll play in 2 weeks' time.
Well, I'll go to you, man. I mean, if everyone is fit and available, where does everyone fit? Where does everyone play?
That's a very Buzz Rothfield-like question, Bonnie, to be honest. I mean, where do you even start? I mean, where does Terrell Sloan play? I mean, maybe.
Well, he'll be fullback. There's no doubt he's going to be the fullback.
Well,
doesn't matter what the Dragons fans are whinging about.
I mean, I think the wingers and centers probably pick themselves. Halves too, probably. I mean, it's all going to come down to with the forwards. Basically how serious the injuries are to Little and Laurie, as we were talking about, and whether or not they sort of spend any time out. But no, it's a bit of a logjam for forward spots, which is as I said earlier, it's probably a good selection headache for Flano to have. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, we certainly will. All right. Well, I guess once again, I would like to thank everyone who's tuned in for tonight's show. With no game on this weekend, we'll have Tuesday night off, but we will have a special NRL preview on Saturday night. Yes, that's right, Saturday, not Sunday. This will be an NRL preview show before the season kicks off in Vegas on the Sunday. So join us as we go through our ladders, predictions for the 2024 season. Until then, revel in us heading into round one with winning form. And winning form is good form. So come on, Dragons fans. Fire up!
Fire up, Dragons fans.
Fire up.
Red
Red
V. As Master tells tales of dragons wins and tuna victory. Tony and the MP crew will do their very best. Hitting up topic and I digress with a red V on our chest. The Mad Dragon podcast is a sheep of camaraderie. Navigating rants down rabbit holes in the land of big red V. And so our paddlers weave the tales and our friendship is our dream. The Mad Dragon podcast,